Welcome into what is now the 1st of May in 1871. And nonetheless, it is Rockford Forest Citys and the Boston Red Stockings. So it's going to be 1-2 for the Rockford Forest Citys, and 3-2 for the Boston Red Stockings. For those that weren't with us last week, or earlier in the week, we played the first of this two-game series between these two, and we lost on a walk-off in the ninth inning. We had scored in the top of the second, one run. Then we scored one run in the top of the fifth. Boston scored three in the bottom of that inning to go up 3-2. We scored two in the top of the seventh to go up 4-3. They tied it in the bottom of the eighth and then walked it off in the bottom of the ninth. So looking for a little bit of revenge here. It's very uncommon in this first season in 1871 that you actually get a two-game series or any kind of series because of just how sparse the scheduling is. But it is indeed a back-to-back, an interleague back-to-back as well. And we are ready to go, and we are going to get into it. So let's start the game. Rockford Forest Citys taking on Boston Red Stockings here. Your starting lineups are as follows. For the Rockford Forest Citys, batting first, third baseman Cap Anson. Batting second, left fielder George Hall. Batting third, second baseman Ross Barnes. Batting fourth, the right fielder Lip Pike. Batting fifth, the catcher Doug Allison. Batting sixth, the first baseman Joe Start. Batting seventh, the center fielder George Bird. Batting eighth, the shortstop George Wright. Batting ninth, the pitcher Dick McBride. Here's your starting lineup for the Boston Red Stockings. Batting first, the first baseman Bub McAtee. Batting second, the shortstop Warren White. Batting third, the second baseman Tom Carey. Batting fourth, the left fielder Andy Leonard. Batting fifth, the center fielder Al Reach. Batting sixth, the right fielder Tommy Beals. Batting seventh, the catcher Henry Kohler. Batting eighth, the third baseman Joe Batten. Batting ninth, the pitcher Asa Bernard. Bernard 2-2 on the season. And going up against Cap Anson to begin with. Anson is 6 for 15 so far this season. From the South End grounds here in Boston, the second match of a two-game series, and we are about to be underway. First pitch here is a ball on the inside, and it is 1-0 to Cap Anson. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That's going to be called. Strike on the outside corner. It's 1-1. We are fixing to run through about two games today for you all. If we get to a third, we will. As the 1-1 pitch is a called strike on the outside corner, and now it's 1-2. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Cap Anson. Swung on. That's right at the shortstop, and that will be the first out of the inning. That'll bring up left fielder George Hall. He's batting 6 for 16 with a home run so far this season. 4 RBIs. Here's the first pitch to Hall. And that's taken below the knees for a ball. 1-0. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Oh, I'm sorry. I've tapped twice. He's taken 2 strikes. It's 1-2. I hit 1-2 at the same time, and it skipped a pitch. Anyway, here's the 1-2 pitch to George Hall. That's lined into left field and foul. The 1-2 again. That's high and away, ball 2, and it's 2-2. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Hall swings on it, lines that in, or pops that up just outside the infield, and that will be taken by the second baseman, and George Hall's retired. That brings up Ross Barnes, the second baseman. He's batting .500 so far this season in 18 plate appearances. First pitch to Ross Barnes. Called strike on the outside corner. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Called strike 2 at the knees, and Barnes is in a hole here. It's 0-2. Here's the 0-2 pitch. And he wastes one outside and away. It's 1-2. Here's the pitch. Swung on. That's into right field. Drifting foul, and it will land foul. And we'll do it again. Here's the 1-2. That's lined right at the shortstop, and that'll retire the side. No runs, no hits, nobody left. We go to the bottom of the first. It's a scoreless game here in Boston. 2 up first for the Boston Red Stockings. First baseman Bub McAtee, who's batting .455 with 3 RBIs so far this season. Dick McBride will take the mound. He's 1 for 2 so far this season with a 2.81 ERA. Here's the first pitch to Bub McAtee, and that is taken outside for a ball. 1-0. 1-0 pitch. Called strike, and it's 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That's grounded foul. I need a moment. Sorry, y'all. Sorry, I was waiting for that text, and of course, it would come through. Of course, it would come through the moment I, the moment I decide to start stream. But yeah, sorry about that. Anyway, let's keep moving on. So, oh, hold on. Yeah, we're good. Sorry, we're good. Oh, I need to get back to Stream Manager. Hold on. There we go. All right. Now I'm good. Sorry. Right. So, Bub McAtee, 1-2 in the count. Here's the pitch. That's taken away for a ball. And it is 2-2. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swung on, grounded over to the shortstop. On to first in time, and that's the first out. That'll bring up Warren White, the shortstop. He's batting .211 so far with 1 RBI. Here's the first pitch to Warren White. That's pop foul back behind the screens. 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That's grounded foul, and now Warren White in a hole here, 0-2. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That's lined it right at the shorts. That's through. It's a base hit for Warren White. And Boston gets the first base runner of the game aboard here in the bottom of the first. That'll bring up Tom Carey, the second baseman. He's batting .320 with 5 RBIs so far this season. Here's the first pitch to Tom Carey. That's taken outside for a ball. 1-0. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That's grounded foul back behind the screen. Oh, it's a pass ball. No, it's not. Sorry, I thought it was grounded foul because he swung. It's a swinging strike, but it's a pass ball, and going to second will be Warren White. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Inside, ball 2, and it's 2-1. Here's the 2-1. Swung on and missed, and that runs the count even at 2-2. The 2-2 pitch popped up in the infield. Over to get it is the first baseman, and that is the second out of the inning. Warren White will not move any further, and that will bring up Andy Leonard. Runner in scoring position, 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Andy Leonard is at the plate. He is batting .238 with 1 RBI. Here's the first pitch. That's in there for a called strike, and it's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Swung on and missed, and it's 0-2. The 0-2 pitch. That's lined into right field. Over to get it is the right fielder. That is Lip Pike, and that will retire the side. No runs on 1 hit. Nobody left, or 1 man left. We go to the top of the second, and we have no score. Due up first for the Rockford Forest Citys will be right fielder Lip Pike. Pike is batting .214 with 1 home run and 2 RBI so far this season. Here's the first pitch to Lip Pike. That's taken on the outside corner for a strike, and it's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Outside, ball 1, and it is 1-1. I'm trying to convince Europeans to watch Moneyball. It's a good movie, actually. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Called strike 2 on the inside part of the plate. And it is 1-2 to Lip Pike. Here's the pitch. Swung on. That's lined right over their heads into center field. Coming in with a sliding catch is Al Reach. And that is the first out of the inning. That brings up Doug Allison, the catcher. He is batting .286 with 2 RBIs so far this season. First pitch. Called strike at the knees, and it's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. That's taken for a strike, and it's 0-2. 0-2 pitch to Doug Allison. Inside, ball 1. Here's the 1-2. That's a high and away, ball 2, and it's 2-2. The 2-2 pitch. Popped up in the outfield. And that'll be the second out of the inning. That brings up Joe Start, the first baseman. He's batting .200 so far. Here's the first pitch to Start. In the inside part of the plate for a strike, and it's 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Inside, ball 1. And it is 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Inside, ball 2. And it counts as now 2-1 here. Here's the 2-1 pitch. That's below the knees, ball 3. Hitters count now 3-1. Here's the pitch. Called strike 2, and it's 3-2. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Swung on, lined into center field, and that is going to be the final out of the inning. 3 up, 3 down. We go to the bottom of the second inning, and we have no score. Due up first for the Boston Red Stockings will be center fielder Al Reach. Big up 135. It's 1871, David. 1870. It's in the title, David. In the title. How's the Monaco race going, by the way? I heard it's quite crap. Guys, if you're not already following David, give him a follow. Great Football Manager streamer. Also plays Hitman on the side. Has a lot of great clips. Apparently, I got a clip of a starting soon screen. I don't even know why. Why would it pull that clip of all the clips? Of all the clips it could pull from your channel, why has it pulled this clip? Hold on. Run that back. Run that back. Run that back. Of all the clips it could have pulled, why did it pull? That's so random. Well, welcome in, David. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're enjoying the race as much as you can be. I'm about to give you the shout out again. I'm waiting for the 30-second cooldown, of course. So, who keeps on fucking pinging me? Anyway, let me try that again. Let's try to pull an actual decent clip this time, shall we? And not a starting suit. There we go.
Okay. We don't care who.
Give him a follow.
Find your friend.
Great streamer.
Luton. Came third. Surely not. Surely not.
I actually probably should take the shout-out audio off of the Twitch VODs as well. Just in case there's actual music playing in the shout-out clip that comes with the... I've made a note to do that now. I've actually done it, but anyway. Yeah, give him a follow. So, right. Al Reach, center fielder, up to bat here. First pitch incoming. And that is taken inside for a ball. 1-0. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Taken for a called strike. It's 1-1. Here's the 1-1. That's lined into right field. It's a leadoff base hit for Al Reach. He's aboard. And that'll bring up right fielder Tommy Beals, who's batting .273 with 3 RBIs so far this season. First pitch is swung on and missed, and that's 0-1. Here is the 0-1 pitch. Called strike, and it's 0-2. Does he get there in time? He steals the base, Al Reach. Al Reach has stolen second base. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That's below the knees for a ball. 1-2. The 1-2. Grounded foul. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That's lined deep into left center field. Going way back there. It's off the top of the wall. Run will score, certainly. It's an RBI triple for Tommy Beals. And Al Reach scores on the play, and Boston's taking the lead. Runner 90 feet away, still nobody out. That brings up Henry Kohler. He is batting .318 with 1 RBI. Here's the first pitch to Kohler. That's flying right at the first baseman for the first out of the inning. Joe Batten, the third baseman, up next. He is batting .062 so far this season. Here's the first pitch. That's taken for a ball. 1-0. Here's the 1-0. Inside, ball 2. Here's the 2-0. Inside, ball 3. No idea why I'm saying pitch to the batter. And we've thrown 3 balls. And here's the first 3-0 pitch. That's in there for a called strike. Yesterday was pretty shit, Crack. But, you know, hey, it is what it is. Anyway. Guys, give Crack a follow. Has been playing Football Manager. Has been playing Expedition 33. Has been playing SmackDown. Here Comes the Pain even. So, has been trying to win matches with Goldberg, but Goldberg takes about 20 million years to execute any freaking move, so he can't seem to do it. At least in that game, he takes 20 million years to execute any move. How you doing, Crack? How's your weekend going? Here's the first pitch. That's grounded over towards the shortstop. On to first, in time for the out. But scoring on the play is Tommy Beals. And that is going to be a RBI ground out for Joe Batten. He's got the RBI. 6-3. And there's 2 down here in the second. That'll bring up pitcher Asa Bernard, batting .154. Got 1 RBI as well. Here's the first pitch. That's a check swing, but it's taken outside for a ball. 1-0. Here's the 1-0. That's popped up in the infield. And that is the final out of the inning. So 2 runs on 2 hits. And nobody left on base. We go to the top of the third. Boston leading 2-0. Was going to stream for the United game, but decided to try and do some stuff to improve the stream. Nice. Due up first for Rockford Forest Citys center fielder George Bird. We're going to take a quick 60-second break, and we'll be back with the third inning in just a moment. Right, we're back. Third inning here in Boston. And Boston leading by a score of 2-0. We've yet to get a base runner on base, which is disappointing. We're supposed to have a really good team this season, Rockford. And if you look at every positional matchup, we're better than Boston based on the ratings. But then somehow we lost last time, and now we're losing again without a base runner and 6 at-bats. Baseball is a very strange game in that regards. First pitch will be to George Bird. And that's taken high and away for a ball, 1-0. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That's below the knees, 2-0. But yeah, I hope your weekend's been all right, Crack. And it's a called strike on the outside part of the plate, and it's 2-1. I went to the Union game yesterday, and it was the worst experience at a game in the 10 years I've been going. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Below the knees again, and it is a ball, 3-1. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Swung on, that's fouled. Sports score is about to go crazy, by the way, because all the EPL games are kicking off at the same exact time. It's championship weekend. Here's the full count, and it's lined into center field. God. We've made 4 straight outs in center field now. As Bird is retired, and that'll bring up shortstop George Wright, who's batting .375 with 2 RBIs so far this season. Here's the first pitch to George Wright, and that is taken in there for a strike, and it's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Taken for a called strike, and it is 0-2. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That's lined into right field. That's going to be down for a base hit. And into second base goes George Wright. We finally get our first base runner here in the top of the third with 1 out. We'll be lurking during the Prem games. That's fair. It's the final day of the season. I don't blame you. That brings up pitcher Dick McBride, who's batting .500 so far this season. Here's the first pitch. That's a called strike, and it's 0-1. 0-1 pitch is taken for a ball. It's a pass ball. Going to third is George Wright. He is 90 feet away now with just 1 out. Here's the 1-1. Oh, it's another pass ball. And coming home the score is George Wright. He is safe at the plate. And we've pulled one back. It's 2-1 now. Here is, that's going to bring up the 2-1 pitch. That's 2-1 pitch taken inside for a called strike. It's 2-2. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Dick McBride. Swung on, that's lined into center field, base hit. And McBride's aboard with a single. That brings up the top of the order at the plate. Cap Anson, he lined out to the shortstop his first at bat. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That's taken high. And a ball 1. The 1-0 pitch. Low went away. Ball 2. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Taken for a called strike. It's 2-1. The 2-1 pitch. Low and away. Ball 3. And now hitters count here with 1 on. It's 3-1. Here's the pitch. Swung on, grounded over to the shortstop. On to second for 1. On to first for the other. And Cap Anson's lined into a 6-4-3 double play to end the inning. So 1 run on 2 hits. They leave nobody on. We go to the bottom of the third. It is 2-1 Boston. Due up first for the Red Stockings, first baseman Bub McAtee. McAtee grounded out his first at bat. Here's the pitch. Taken for a called strike, and it's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Swung on and missed. That's strike 2. It's 0-2. The 0-2 pitch to Bub McAtee. Grounded over towards the second baseman. On to first in time for out number 1. That'll bring up shortstop Warren White. He singled in his last at bat. Here's the first pitch to Warren White. That's taken below the knees for a ball. 1-0. 1-0 pitch. Swung on, fouled. Down the third base side, and it's 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Called strike 2 at the knees. And it is 1-2 to to Warren White. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on, grounded over towards the third baseman. On to first, in time, and that's out number 2. That brings up second baseman Tom Carey. He popped up to the first baseman, his first at bat. Here's the first pitch to Tom Carey. That is in there for a called strike, and it's 0-1. The 0-1 pitch. Taken high for a ball, and it is 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That's taken away off the plate for a ball. 2-1 now. 2-1 pitch to Tom Carey is grounded over towards the shortstop. Over to first in time for out number 3. No runs, no hits, nobody left. We go to the top of the 4th. It is 2-1 Boston. We're going to take a quick 60-second break. We'll be back with the 4th inning in just a minute's time. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Top of the 4th inning here in Boston. Red Stockings are leading it by a score of 2-1. First up for the Rockford Forest Citys will be left fielder George Hall. He popped up to the second baseman, his first at bat. Here is the first pitch. That's taken for a called strike. It's 0-1. The 0-1 pitch. Called strike 2, and it is 0-2. Here's the 0-2 now. That's lined right at the first baseman, and that'll be the first out of the inning. Russ Barnes will be the second batter. He lined out to the shortstop his first at bat. Here's the first pitch. That's taken inside, ball 1. Here's the 1-0 pitch. In there for a called strike, and it's 1-1. The 1-1 pitch. Called strike 2 at the knees, and it's 2-2. Or 1-2. Sorry, here's the 1-2 pitch. Grounded foul. Here's the 1-2. He's fought that one off again. 1-2 is lined over towards right field, but drifting foul. The 1-2 pitch. It's taken outside for a ball, and it is 2-2 now. Here's the 2-2. Check swing inside, ball 3. And Barnes has fought this back to a full count. The 8th pitch of the at-bat. And that's lined in towards left center field. That's down for a base hit. It finds the gap. Going to second is going to be Barnes. And he's in there with a double. Barnes gets aboard with a 1-out double. That'll bring up Lip Pike. He lined out to the center field his last at bat. Here's the first pitch to Lip Pike. Taken outside for a ball, 1-0. The 1-0 pitch. In there for a called strike, and it's 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Inside, ball 2, and it is 2-1 now. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Taken outside for ball 3, and it is 3-1. Hitters count now to Lip Pike, 3-1. Runner in second, or on second. Here's the pitch. That's grounded foul. Here's the 1-0, or the 3-2. That's lined into left center field. That's gonna, or left field. That's gonna be a base hit. Going to third, I believe, is gonna be, going to third is gonna be Lip Pike. He's got himself an RBI triple. And he's tied this game up here in the top of the 4th as Barnes will score. That brings up Doug Allison. He flied out to center field his first at bat. Game tied, runner 90 feet away. Here's the first pitch. That's taken low and away for a ball, 1-0. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Called strike on the outside part of the plate, and it's 1-1. The 1-1. That's below the knees, 2-1. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Below the knees again, and it's 3-1. Hitters count now to Doug Allison. Runner on third. Here's the 3-1. That's grounded foul. The full count now. That's lined over into right field. That might be enough to get the runner home. Is it going to be? No. He's flied out to right and not deep enough to get the runner home. And so it'll be 2 out now here in the 4th. I said before the game yesterday, Palace could win today. Will be interesting to see. I mean, it doesn't matter, though, does it? Do you know what I mean? Also, United are playing like a top 6 side, which is so funny. Villa looks scared. Listen, Crack, I love you to death, brother. But every time you talk about United, I have to take it with a pinch of salt now. Because, I just have to take it with a pinch of salt. I don't know what else to say, man. Runner on third. 2 down. Joe Start is the batter. He flied out to center field his last time. I mean, maybe I'm too negative thinking when it comes to my football clubs, or football clubs in general. That might be it as well. But here's Start. He's going to take first pitch in there for a called strike. 0-1. 0-1 pitch is inside. Ball 2. Or ball 1. The 1-1 pitch in the inside part of the plate. And it is 1-2. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That's grounded over towards the shortstop. On to first in time, and that is the final out of the inning. So 1 run on 2 hits. They leave 1 aboard. We go the bottom of the 4th. It is a tie game here in Boston. Due up first for the Red Stockings will be left fielder Andy Leonard. Fair enough. I think I'm fair, and I've been fair with how crap we've been, but every fan of the club is biased. That's true. That's true. You've definitely been fair in some parts. That's true. I'll give you that. But here's the first pitch to Andy Leonard. The sun's out, but that's a line drive into left field, but it drifts foul. The sun is out, but for some reason the room isn't illuminated, and I cannot tell you why. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Swung on, grounded over towards first baseman, and he will take it himself for the first out of the inning. I guess the only part I would argue is that the macro, you have rose tinted glasses, I think, when talking about the macro when it comes to Man United. That brings up Al Reach. He singled and stole a base his last at bat. Here's the first pitch. That's taken for a called strike. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. That is off the plate away, and it's 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That is off the plate away. It's 2-1. What's up, man? How'd the game go? It was the worst game day experience in 10 years at the stadium, Buck. So that's lined up into center field, and that's going to be a base hit for Al Reach, who is now safely aboard twice in this game. Oh, it's an error as well. Error on E8. That is the center fielder, George Bird. He's going to get the error. If you're not already following Buck, give him a follow. North American streamer. Plays some Football Manager. What was that clip? That was like the shortest clip ever. What was that? Thank you, bro. You're welcome, man. But yeah, welcome in, Buck. Is a Venecia fan, actually, Buck, which is very respectable. See, I like Buck a lot just because he supports Venecia. So, yeah, but that's every fan of every club. But surely you agree we're not as bad as we've been playing. To be this bad is an anomaly, but I don't want to put words in your mouth. Plus, I'm an optimist. That's fine. You are an optimist, yes. I would say yeah, you're probably yes, sir. Maybe yeah. I would say you're right. Actually, you're not as bad as you've been playing. That's probably a fair assessment. Actually, wearing your shirt, big match day. Who you got? That brings up Tommy Beals. He had an RBI triple his last at bat. Here's the first pitch to Beals. Swung on, grounded over to fucking Christ, Cap Anson. He's made an error. And Tommy Beals is aboard on the error by Cap Anson. Ooh, Juventus, and you got to win or you're relegated. That's good luck, Buck. I'm pulling for you, man. I hate Juventus, too, so I hope you guys win. Cap Anson is literally the defender I have with the worst defensive rating. I'd laugh, but it's typical Mazraoui looks to have done his hamstring. Oof. Henry Kohler is now to the plate, and he lined out to the first baseman his last at bat. 2-1 here, 1 out. Here's the first pitch to Kohler. Swung on, that's popped up in the infield. And that'll be out number 2. A little bit of a relief of pressure there with that out. That brings up Joe Batten. He had an RBI ground out his first at bat. Well, there are 2 outs with 2 on here in the bottom of the 4th. First pitch to Joe Batten. Swung on. That's grounded over to the first baseman. He takes it himself, and that is going to be the end of the inning. No runs on 1 hit. They leave 2 aboard. We go to the top of the 5th. It is a tie game here. Due up first for the Rockford Forest Citys is center fielder George Bird, who's 0 for 1 so far today. We're going to be back with the 5th inning in just a minute's time. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back. By the way, Buck, you do not have to worry about that bot spoiling anything because Serie A is not enabled for Sports Score bot. It is only the top 5 English leagues that are enabled for the Sports Score bot. So you do not have to worry about seeing a score here first if you're watching the game. Just an FYI. Right, top of the 5th, tie game here. I'm going to have to turn the lights on again. Here's George Bird. He flied out to center field his first at bat. Only top 5, what a dig. What are you talking about? Only the top 5 levels in England are enabled for the football and MLS. But that wasn't a dig. It's the top 5 levels of the English pyramid. How is that a dig? You got me lost. Anyway, here's the first pitch. And it's taken for a ball. Oh, no, the top 5 levels in England. The top 5 leagues in England. So, Prem, Championship, League 1, League 2, Vanarama National, and MLS. That's a ball. It's 0-1, or 1-0. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Called strike. It's 1-1. 1-1 pitch. Called strike 2 on the outside part of the plate. And it is 1-2 now. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. And George Bird has struck out. I mean, they have trouble with the API to begin with, so I think it is what it is. They do so much as well. I mean, they just added the Champions League at the end of the season as well for next season. So, Champions League and I think Europa League is enabled. I don't think they have Conference League yet. That brings up George Wright, the shortstop. He had a double his last at bat. Here's the first pitch to George Wright. Taken for a called strike. It's 0-1. The 0-1 pitch. Down low, but in there for strike number 2. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That's below the knees for a ball, 1-2. Here's the 1-2 now. Outside, ball 2, and now the count is even. Here's the 2-2. That's just fouled behind the catcher, and we'll do it again. 2-2. Popped up just outside of the infield. And the second baseman's over to get it, and that will be the second out of the inning. That brings up pitcher Dick McBride. He had a single his last at bat. Here's the first pitch. Taken inside, ball 1. Here's the 1-0. That's taken away, ball 2. The 2-0 pitch. Taken outside, ball 3. And the count is now 3-0. Here's the 3-0 pitch. Check swing, but it's in there for a strike. It's 3-1. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Swung on, grounded over to the first baseman. He will take it himself, and that will retire the side. No runs, no hits, nobody left. We go to the bottom of the 5th. It is 2-2 here. 2 up first for the Boston Red Stockings will be pitcher Asa Bernard, who popped up to the shortstop his last at bat. Here's the first pitch. Swung on and missed, and it's 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Taken below the knees for a ball, 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Called strike 2, and it's 1-2. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. And Bernard has struck out. That'll bring up first baseman Bub McAtee. He's got 2 groundouts today. First pitch. Popped up. And third baseman has it. That'll be out number 2. That'll bring up the shortstop, Warren White. He is 1 for 2 with a single and a ground out. Here's the first pitch. Taken for a called strike. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Grounded over to the first baseman. He steps on the bag himself, and that will retire the side. 3 up, 3 down. We go to the top of the 6th. It is still tied here at 2. We'll be back. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back with the 6th inning in 60 seconds time. Don't go anywhere. Oh, I can't even run it. Okay, we'll keep going. I like to take a break every inning to keep the ads away during the action, but the top and the bottom of the inning was so quick. I can't even run them. Rip. I'll get it in the half inning then. Let's go to the bottom of the let's go to the top of the 6th here. Due up first is third baseman Cap Anson. He is 0 for 2 so far today. First pitch. On the inside part of the plate for a called strike. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Taken below the knees, and that's 1-1. 1-1 pitch. On the outside part of the plate, called strike 2. 1-2. Here's the 1-2. That's chop foul behind home plate. It remains 1-2. Here's the pitch. Grounded right back up the middle. On to, oh, it's a throwing error by the second baseman. And Anson is aboard on the error to start the inning. That brings up left fielder George Hall. He is 0 for 2 so far today. Here's the first pitch. Throw over to first. Runner's back in time. First pitch taken for a called strike. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Inside ball 1, and it gets by the catcher. And Anson is going to make his way to second base. Here's the 1-1. Called strike 2 on the outside part of the plate. You see what I mean? The bite is a little wonky there. Right. The 1-2 pitch to George Hall. Swung on, that's fouled. Here we go again with the 1-2. Swung on, grounded right back up the middle. And that's through. A base hit. Anson goes to third. And George Hall has singled here in the top of the 6th. Runners on the corners with nobody out. That brings up second baseman Ross Barnes. He is 1 for 2 with a double so far. First pitch inside for a ball, and it's 1-0. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Called strike, and it's 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Taken for a called strike. It's 1-2. The 1-2 pitch. Swung on. That's lined right at. He's been called safe. That was lined right at the first base. He looked out to me, but I'll take it. Anson remains on third base, and so Barnes lines out. That brings up Lip Pike, who is 1 for 2 with an RBI triple so far. Chance to take the lead here for Rockford. Here's the first pitch. It's a pass. It's a wild pitch. It's a wild pitch. Coming in to score is Cap Anson. Going to second will be George Hall. And Rockford have taken the lead. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Inside, ball 2. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That's taken for a called strike. It's 2-1. Hey, blockbuster!
I intend to live by my own code now.
Blockbuster, I didn't even realize you streamed, brother. What were you doing? How was your stream, man? Ooh, almost messed it up. There we go. Guys, give Blockbuster a follow. They were last streaming Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Just started streaming yesterday. It was good. Nice. Nice, man. Let me drop you a follow, bro. Let me go into streamer dashboard so I can actually get you up on a new tab here. And drop you a follow. Lovely, man. How was it? You said it was good. What'd you manage to get through with the Jedi Survivor? Right. We are Rockford Forest Citys. We've just taken the lead. It's a 2-1 count to Lip Pike. And here's the pitch. That is down low, and it's ball 3. You finished the first couple of missions. Nice, man. I've heard a lot about that game. 3-1 is lined straight into center field. Center fielder comes over to grab it, and that is the second out of the inning. Outreach gets the put out, and that'll be 2 outs now with one runner on second. That brings up catcher Doug Allison, who's flied out twice. Here's the first pitch. That is in or at the knees, or below the knees, I should say, for ball 1. Here's the 1-0. Called strike on the outside part of the plate. It's 1-1. The 1-1 pitch in there for strike 2. Here's the 1-2. Swung on, grounded over towards the third baseman. Oh, he's fumbled it. And he reaches via an error on the third baseman. George Hall gets the third. And now runners on the corners with 2 outs. That brings up first baseman Joe Start. He's 0 for 2 so far today. Here's the first pitch to Joe Start. That is taken high and in for a ball. 1-0. Here's the 1-0. That's inside ball 2. Almost got by the catcher completely. I would have scored another run had it done so. Here's the 2-0. Taken on the outside part of the plate for a strike. It's 2-1. Here's the 2-1. That's in there for a called strike, and it's 2-2. Here's the 2-2 pitch. That is outside ball 3, and now the count is full. 2 outs. Runners on the corners. Here's the pitch. That's swung on and fouled. It was well from start to fight that off. And he'll have another go. Here's the pitch. Swung on. That's lined into center. That's popped up. And that will be the end of the inning. So 1 run on 1 hit. They leave 2 aboard. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Rockford leads it by a score of 3-2. I've been preparing for it for a couple of weeks. Got the Twitch borders and everything ready. Made it myself. Been streaming on some PlayStations with PC. That's awesome. My question with the PlayStation is, what did you use to stream the PlayStation stuff? Because at some point I'm going to get a PS4 or a PS5, and I plan on doing it myself, doing that as well. I also would like to get an Xbox Series X because they've re-released a lot of the games that I played for the 360 on the Series X, and I will probably wind up downloading that or buying that and then buying those games again and downloading them again. That is more of a 2026 project, granted. But um, after I come back from the Olympics, that's going to be my goal, is to get a PS5, get an Xbox Series X, and then there you go. Just download Twitch on the console. You can stream. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know what? I've seen a lot of. There's a guy I watch in Korea who plays a lot of. What's the game that I tried? First Descendant. And I think that's what he uses. Yeah. That's seamless, man. That's awesome. It's that seamless. Oh, nice. We're getting a new something about Soccer Pod today. Biz just confirmed it's going to drop today. They had some audio issues that delayed it. Awesome. All right. Looking forward to seeing how it all goes. Yeah, same, man. I got to catch a stream. Now that I'm following you, I know I definitely can. Right. I didn't take the break that I was scheduled to take, so we're going to take a quick 60-minute, yeah. No, we're going to take a 60-second break. We'll be back with the bottom of the sixth inning in just a moment. Right, welcome back. Bottom of the sixth here in Boston. Rockford leading by a score of 3-2. Due up first for the Red Stockings will be second baseman Tom Carey. He is 0 for 2 so far today. First pitch to Carey is inside for a ball. It's 1-0. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That's popped up just beyond the pitcher's mound. Coming in for it is the shortstop, George Wright, and he gets the put out. That is going to be the first out of the inning. That brings up Andy Leonard. He is 0 for 2 so far today. First pitch to Leonard. That's grounded foul. Here's the 0-1. Inside, ball 1. 1-1 pitch. That's taken low, and it's 2-1. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Inside, ball 3. Hitters count now 3-1. Here's the pitch. Swung on. That's lined deep into left field, and that is going to be out number 2. George Hall getting the put in left field, and that brings up Al Reach, who is 2 for 2 so far today with 2 singles and a stolen base. Here's the pitch to Al Reach. That's popped up into right field, drifting foul. And it will be foul. Here's the 0-1. Swung on, grounded over towards the shortstop. On to first in time for out number 3. And that will retire the side. No runs, no hits, nobody left. We go to the top of the 7th. It is 3-2 Rockford. Due up first in the top of the 7th inning is center fielder George Bird. He flied out and struck out in his first 2 at-bats today. Here's the first pitch to George Bird. taken on the outside part of the plate for a called strike. 0-1. Here's the 0-1. That's on the outside corner, strike 2. Here's the 0-2. He's lined that into right center field. And that's a base hit that gets down. Base hit for George Bird. And he's got himself a leadoff triple. He goes into third base. He is safe. And it's a leadoff triple for Rockford in the top of the 7th inning. That brings up shortstop George Wright. He is 1 for 2 with a double so far today. Here's the first pitch to George Wright. And that's in there for a called strike, 0-1. Here's the 0-1. That's inside, ball 1, and it's 1-1. The 1-1 pitch. High and away, ball 2. Here's the 2-1. That's inside off the plate, and it's a hitter's count, 3-1. Here's the pitch. That's grounded foul behind home plate, and the count goes full. Full count. Here's the pitch. That's grounded foul. Here's the 3-2. That's lined into left field, a base hit, and George Wright has got himself an RBI single here in the top of the 7th. Bird will score, and Rockford extend the lead to 4-2. That brings up pitcher Dick McBride. He is 1 for 2 so far today. First pitch is in there for a called strike. It's 1-2 or 0-1. Here's the 0-1. That's way inside. Ball 1. Here's the 1-1. It's inside, ball 2. It gets away from the catcher. That moves George Wright over to second. And now the count 2-1. Here is the pitch. Called strike 2 on the outside part of the plate. It is 2-2 now. 2-2 the count. Here's the pitch. That's lined into center field. And that will be the first out of the inning. Wright cannot advance. And that'll bring up the top of the order, Cap Anson. He is 0 for 3 so far today. Here's the first pitch. That's inside, ball 1. The 1-0 pitch. Check swing, but it's in there anyway. 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Taken outside, ball 2. 2-1. Here's the 2-1. That's inside off the plate. And it is a hitter's count now, 3-1. Here's the pitch. Swung on, grounded over towards the shortstop. On to first, and he's safe. He beats the throw. It's an infield single for Cap Anson. Going to third is George Wright, and it's runners on the corners with 1 out here. That brings up George Hall. He is 1 for 3 so far today. Throw over to first. And the runner's back in time. Here's the first pitch. That's taken low for a ball. 1-0. 1-0 pitch. Called strike on the outside part of the plate. And it is 1-1. Here's the 1-1. Called strike 2. 1-2. Pitch swung on, grounded over to first. On to second for 1, and they get the double play to end the inning. Ford, a 6-3 double play. That retires the side. So 1 run on 3 hits. They leave 1 aboard. We go to the the bottom of the 7th. It is 7-1. I'm sorry, it is 4-2 Rockford. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to take about a 2 or 3 minute break as the time-honored tradition of Take Me Out to the Ball Game will play. We'll be back in about 2 minutes' time. Don't go anywhere. Well, you heard him. Play ball. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We are back. 7th inning stretch here in Boston. It is 4-2 for the Forest Citys. By the way, for those caring in the Prem, I didn't realize this, but um, uh, Villa took a red card. That's what I meant to say. They're down to 10 men. Let me just answer this this ping, and then I'll get right back to the game. All right. Bottom of the 7th, due up for Boston will be right fielder Tommy Beals. He is 1 for 2 with an RBI triple so far today. First pitch to Beals is inside for a ball, 1-0. Here's the 1-0. He's fouled that off, and it's 1-1. The 1-1 pitch. That is down low for a ball, 2-1. 2-1 pitch. Swung on. That's grounded right back up. That's in there. Base hit. And Beals is aboard with a leadoff single. That'll bring up catcher Henry Kohler. He is currently 0 for 2 so far today. Here's the first pitch to Kohler. In there for a called strike, and it's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. That's taken somewhere off the plate for a ball. Why are you on so early? Because I'm up, man, and I'm going to enjoy my evening to myself. Like, you know what I mean? Welcome in, Cully. It's 11:51. It's not even that early, to be fair, Cully. If I was in Dill's time zone, yeah, it would be early. Here's the first pitch. That is taken for a ball. 2-1. 2-1 pitch. Swung on. That's fouled. And the count is now even at 2-2. No. That's full count now after the ball 3 at 3-2. You thought it was earlier? No, I went live around like 10. Like 10 after 10. Not too bad. Here's a full count. And that's a ball. He's walked him. To second goes Beals. Kohler takes the base on balls. And now it's first and second here with nobody out. I'm only here for, I got to get ready for work. I'm on nights. Oh, that's brutal, man. Well, good luck at work, Cully. I appreciate you at least swinging by, man. But good luck. And on a holiday weekend, too. That's terrible. First pitch is a ball, 1-0. It is Joe Batten at the plate. He is 0 for 2 with an RBI so far today. Here's the pitch. That's swung on, fouled. And the count goes to 1-1. 1-1 pitch. Wild pitch. Over to third goes Beals. Second goes Kohler. And it's 2-1 to count. We're going to lose this game with an error. I bet. And this one's grounded over towards the shortstop. Did they get him? They did get him. He's out at home. Over to third goes Kohler. Batten is aboard, but they get the lead runner. That brings up pitcher Asa Bernard, who is 1 for 2 with a strikeout, or 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Here's the first pitch. And that's lined into left center field. Base hit. And that is an RBI single for Asa Bernard. Boston get one back. To second goes Batten. And it's a 4-3 game now. Due up is Bub McAtee. Bub is 0 for 3 so far today. First and second with just one out. It's an infield single. No throw. Over to third goes Batten. Second will be Bernard. McAtee's on first. Bases loaded. And still just one out. That brings up Warren White, who's 1 for 3 with a single so far today. Here's Bob Addy. Bob Addy is coming in for Asa Bernard. I'm currently on Hoy 4, about to start Wolver 2 as the UK. I'm going to Stratbond. Nice. Hoy is so much fun. I love playing smaller nations in Hoy and just upsetting the balance of everything. Here's the 1-0. Swung on. That's lined into right field. That's going deep. That's going back. And that is caught. But that will be enough to bring the runner home. So it's an RBI sac fly. Scoring the run is Batten. The rest of the runners hold put. And this game is now tied. That brings up Tom Carey. He is 0 for 3 so far today. First pitch, swung on, grounded over towards the second baseman. On to first, in time, and that will retire the side. 2 runs on 1 hit, and they leave 2 aboard. We go to the top of the top of the 8th, and this game is tied at 4. Ross Barnes, the second baseman, will be due up. He is 1 for 3 with a double so far today. Off again for a while, my friend. If I don't get back, have a simply fantastic stream you deserve. Thank you, Crack. I appreciate it. If we lose both games, it'll be pretty miserable. And we were leading this one, and now it's tied. So last time I was in this situation, we wound up coughing up the game in the bottom of the 9th inning. But anyway, thank you for swinging by. Take care, man. Have a good rest of your day. Right. We're going to take a 60-second break. We'll be back with the 8th inning just after this. Right, welcome back. Top of the 8th inning here in Boston. Tie game. Ross Barnes is going to be the first batter. 1 for 3. He's got a double so far. Here's the first pitch. That's taken for a called strike. It's 0-1. 0-1 pitch. Down and away. Ball 1. The 1-1 pitch now. That is called strike 2 on the outside part of the plate. And now the count is 1-2. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Down and away. Ball 2. It's 2-2. Here's the 2-2. Swung on. That's popped up. And foul. The 2-2 pitch. Swung on. Grounded over to the first baseman. And that'll be the pitcher coming over to assist. 3-1 on the put, and that's the first out of the inning. Lip Pike will be due up. He has an RBI triple. He's 1 for 3 today. Here's the first pitch. That's taken inside. Ball 1. Here's the 1-0. That's below the knees, and it is 2-0. 2-0 pitch. Called strike on the outside part of the plate. 2-1. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Called strike on the outside corner. And now the count is even 2-2. Here is the pitch. Swung on. That's grounded foul. 2-2 pitch. That's grounded foul again. Here we go with the 2-2. That's lined in towards the second baseman. On to first. In time. And that's out number 2. That'll bring up Doug Allison. He's 0 for 3 so far today. Reached on an error in his last at-bat. Here's the first pitch. Swung on, that's lined into right field, and a base hit for Doug Allison. And, oh, that's an error. I didn't see who that error was on, actually. Game log. Who was that error on? Error on the outfielder, E9. That is the right fielder, Tommy Beals. So he goes to second on the error, and there's a runner in scoring position now with 2 outs. That brings up Joe Start. First pitch to Start. Taken for a called strike. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That's high, ball 1. 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Grounded back up towards the middle. It's a base hit. Joe Start is aboard. Holding at third will be Doug Allison. And now runners on the corners with 1 out. I'm sorry, with 2 outs. That brings up George Bird. He had a triple his last at bat. First pitch is inside, ball 1. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Taken high and away, ball 2. The 2-0 pitch, it's a passed ball. Coming home to score is Doug Allison. Going to second is George Bird. I'm sorry, Joe Start goes to second. George Bird is at the plate. And it is now 5-4 for Rockford. 3-0 is the count. Here's the pitch. Called strike, and it's 3-1. Here's the 3-1 pitch. That's fouled. Back behind home plate, and it'll be 3-2. Here's the 3-2. That's lined into right center field. Is it going to get down? It does. It's a base hit. Holding at third is Joe Start. George Bird gets the base hit. And it is runners on the corners with 2 outs. That'll bring up George Wright. He is 2 for 3 so far today. Runners on the corners, 2 outs. First pitch, and that is outside, ball 1. Here's the 1-0. Inside, ball 2. Did I double tapped again. I double tapped the keys right next to each other. God darn it. Always do that. He flied out F9. George Wright flied out. So, 1 run on 3 hits, and they... 1 run on 3 hits, they leave 2 aboard. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It is 5-4 Rockford. 2 up first for Boston is the left fielder Andy Leonard, who's 0 for 3 so far today. And he's taken a called strike. And it is 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Swung on, that's flied in towards left center field. Going back, it's off the wall. And that is going to be a double to lead off the inning for Andy Leonard. That'll bring up center fielder Al Reach, who is 2 for 3 so far today. First pitch is lined into towards the second baseman, on to first, and that's the first out of the inning. Going to third is Andy Leonard, and the tying run is 90 feet away with 2 outs here, or with 1 out, sorry. That brings up right fielder Tommy Beals. He's 2 for 3 with a single, a triple, and an RBI. First pitch, that's lined in towards left field. Going back on it, that's a base hit. That's going to be the tying run scoring. It's an RBI double for Tommy Beals. And the game is tied again at 5. Runner on second, 1 out. That brings up Henry Kohler, the catcher. He is 1 for 3 so far today. First pitch swung on and missed, and it's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Taken for a ball, 1-1. The 1-1 pitch. Called strike, and it's 1-2. The 1-2. Grounded over towards the second baseman. On to first in time for out number 2. Going to third will be Tommy Beals, and that brings up Joe Batten. He is 0 for 3 so far, reached on a fielder's choice his last at bat. First pitch to Batten is outside for a ball, 1-0. 1-0, small one, that's foul. And here's the 1-1 pitch. Popped up just outside the infield. And over to pick it up will be the second baseman, Ross Barnes. And that retires the side. 1 run on 2 hits. They leave 1 aboard. We go to the top of the 9th. The game is tied at 5. Dick McBride, the pitcher, will be the first man up. He is currently 1 for 3 so far today. We are going to take a 60-second ad break. We'll be back with the 9th inning in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Top of the 9th time, crunch time here in Boston. Tie game, Dick McBride is due up. Here's the first pitch. And that's taken for a ball, 1-0. The 1-0 pitch. Ball 2 on the inside, and the count is 2-0. Here is the 2-0 pitch. Called strike, and it's 2-1. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. 2-2. Here's the 2-2. Swung on, that's popped up just outside the infield. Shortstop will grab it. That is Bob Addy on the put. And that is going to be the first out. And here is the first pitch to, that's lined right at, that was the first pitch to Cap Anson. That was lined right at the shortstop, and there's 2 away now. That'll bring up George Hall. He is currently 1 for 4 today. Here's the first pitch. Taken for a ball. That's 1-0. Here's the 1-0. Called strike. 1-1. The 1-1. Inside. 2-1. Here's the 2-1. Down and away. Ball 3. The 3-1 pitch. Called strike. It's 3-2. Here's the full count now. Swung on, grounded over towards the first baseman. He'll step on the bag. And that ends the inning. No runs, no hits, nobody left. We go to the bottom of the ninth. It is a tie game here in Boston. Due up first is pitcher Asa Bernard. Currently 0 for 3. Or no, I'm sorry. He's currently 1 for 3. And that one's grounded over towards the shortstop. On to first in time, and that's out number 1. Sorry, I put 4-3 down. The put is 6-3. I also just wrote it in the 8th inning. It's the 9th. So 1 down here in the 9th. That brings up Bub McAtee. He is 1 for 4 so far today. Here's the pitch. Called strike, and it's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Check swing, but a ball. 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swung on, that's popped up in towards center field. And making the play is the second baseman. And McAtee is retired. That brings up Bob Addy. He had a pinch hit RBI sac fly his last at bat. Or I'm sorry, they're going with another sub. So it'll be Gene Kimball who comes into bat. Here's the first pitch to Kimball. Swung on, grounded over towards the second baseman. On to first in time to retire the side. No runs, no hits, nobody left. We are going to extra innings here in Boston. And it is tied at 5 apiece. Due up first for Rockford, second baseman Ross Barnes, who was 1 for 4 with a double today. We're going to I can't even take it. Okay, we're going to keep going. So, Ross Barnes is up. 10th inning now. Extra innings here. Here's the first pitch. That's taken low for a ball. 1-0. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Taken inside. Ball 2. Here's the 2-0. Called strike, and it's 2-1. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Swung on, that's lined in. Oh, it just went foul. The 2-2. Swung on into right field, but foul. Here's the pitch. Inside, ball 3. And the count is full. And here's the pitch. Swung on, grounded foul. This is the 8th pitch of the at-bat. Here's the pitch. Swung on, grounded foul. Barnes stays alive. Here's the pitch. That's flied into left field. And over there is Andy Leonard, and he will make the catch. I'm sorry, that's Gene Kimball. Then what happened to Bob Addy? Oh, he was just a pinch hitter, it looks like. Who's at shortstop? Andy Leonard's at shortstop. Oh, I subbed that. Okay. No wonder. I have Andy Leonard at left field. She's shortstop. And Warren White is the left fielder, or was the left fielder. And that means Bob Addy came in for him for a few innings, and now it's Gene Kimball. So that brings up Lip Pike. He is 1 for 4 with a RBI triple so far today. Here's the first pitch to Lip Pike. That's taken for a called strike. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Swung on. That's grounded towards the hole. That's through. Base hit. Lip Pike is aboard. That brings up Doug Allison. He is currently 1 for 4 so far today with a single. Here's the first pitch. Inside, ball 1. Here's the 1-0. Inside, ball 2. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Taken for a called strike. It's 2-1. The 2-1 pitch. Swung on. That's into right field. Is that going to get down? It does. Base hit. It's a single for Lip Pike. Back-to-back singles. And now there's runners on first and second with 1 out here in the top of the 10th inning. That'll bring up Joe Start, the first baseman. He is 1 for 4 so far today with a single. First pitch to Joe Start is a called strike, and it's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. That's away. Ball 1. A 1-1 pitch is a wild pitch. Going to third is Lip Pike. Going to second is Doug Allison. And now it's 2 runners in scoring position with 1 out here for Rockford. 2-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. It's 2-2 now. Here's the 2-2. Swung on. It's grounded over toward the shortstop. On to first in time for out number 2. And now a sac fly won't get you there. It has to be a base hit. Could also be a wild pitch or a pass ball again. That brings up George Bird. He is 2 for 4. A single, a triple, a fly out, and a strikeout. First pitch to George Bird is taken for a called strike. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Below the knees, 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swung on, grounded foul. Here's the 1-2. Swung on, it's grounded over to first, and he takes it back to the bag himself, and that retires the side. No runs on 2 hits. They leave 2 aboard. We go to the bottom of the 10th. It is 5-5 still. Due up first for Boston. Should be Bub McAtee. Oh, no, it's Tom Carey. Sorry. Second baseman, he's 0 for 4 so far today. Here's the first pitch to Carey. Taken inside for a ball, 1-0. Here's the 1-0. Ball 2, inside as well. Here's the 2-0. Swung on, grounded over to the third baseman. On to first, and it's an error. It's a throwing error, or it's an E5. An error on the third baseman, Cap Anson, is second of the game. And that puts the winning run aboard here with nobody out. Brings up shortstop Andy Leonard. He is 1 for 4 so far today with a double. Here's the first pitch. Swung on, that's popped up. Over is Anthony makes the play. That brings up Al Reach, the center fielder. He is 2 for 4 so far today. 2 singles and a stolen base. Here's the first pitch. That's a ball and a pass ball. So now Tom Carey is in scoring position with 1 out. Here's the pitch. That's lined into right field, and it's a base hit, and that's going to do it. Scoring on the play is Tom Carey, and for the second straight game, we have lost on a walk-off, this time in extra innings. Final score here in Boston is the Rockford Forest Citys 5, the Boston Red Stockings 6. And that's, what, 1 hit. And that'll do it. We're going to go over the box score now. I'm going to, for the pitchers at least. Dick McBride pitched 9 1/3 inning. I have his pitch count at 109. 1 walk, I believe it was. 1 strikeout. And they have 10 hits. Oh, yeah, I don't know why I wrote 1 hit here in the 7th. They had 3. One, 3, 4, 7, 9, 10. Yeah, 10 hits. 6 runs, and 5 of them were earned. Literally, the last run wasn't earned. I was dead on. We lost due to an error. Right. So Dick McBride, 9 1/3 innings pitched, 109 pitches, 1 walk, 1 strikeout, or 1 base on balls, 1 strikeout, 10 hits, 6 runs, 5 earned. Cap Anson. Here's the batting stats now for Rockford. Cap Anson, 5 at-bats, 1 hit, 1 run. George Hall, 5 at-bats, 1 hit. Ross Barnes, 5 at-bats, 1 hit, 1 run. Oh, Cap Anson, by the way, 2 errors. Lip Pike, 5 at-bats, 2 hits. Oh, by the way, Ross Barnes, his hit was a double. Lip Pike, 5 at-bats, 2 hits, 1 triple, 1 RBI. Doug Allison, 5 at-bats, 2 hits, 1 run. Joe Start, 5 at-bats, 1 hit. George Bird, 5 at-bats, 2 hits, 1 run. One of those hits was a triple, struck out once. George Wright, 4 at-bats, 2 hits. One of those hits was a double, 1 RBI, 1 run. And then Dick McBride, 4 at-bats, 1 hit. Oh, sorry, the totals, the team totals now. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 39, 43 at-bats, 5 runs, 13 hits, 2 doubles, 2 triples, 1 strikeout, 2 RBIs, 3 errors. Now over to the Boston Red Stockings. Asa Bernard, 10 innings pitched. I have a pitch count of 208. No walks, 1 strikeout. 13 hits, 5 runs, only 2 of them earned. Batting stats for the Boston Red Stockings. Bub McAtee, 5 at-bats, 1 hit. Warren White, 3 at-bats, 1 hit. Tom Carey, 5 at-bats, 1 run, no hits, 1 error. Andy Leonard, 5 at-bats, 1 hit, 1 run. It was a double. Al Reach, 5 at-bats, 3 hits, 1 double, 1 RBI, 1 run, 1 stolen base. Tommy Beals, 4 at-bats, 3 hits, 1 double, 1 triple, 2 RBIs, 1 run, 1 error. Henry Kohler, 4 at-bats. No, I'm sorry, beg your pardon. 3 at-bats. 3 at-bats. 1 run, 1 base on balls. Joe Batten, 4 at-bats. No hits, 1 run, 1 RBI, 1 error. Asa Bernard, 4 at-bats, 1 hit, 1 RBI, 1 strikeout. Bob Addy, 1 at-bat, no hits, 1 RBI. Gene Kimball, 1 at-bat, no hits. Total for the Boston Red Stockings, 3, 8, 18, 23, 27, 30, 38, 38, 40 at-bats. 6 runs. 10 hits. 3 doubles. 1 triple. 1 base on balls. 1 strikeout. 1 stolen base. 6 RBIs. 3 errors. Bernard gets the win. Dick McBride gets the loss. Right. That means we fall to 1-3. And the Boston Red Stockings are going to improve to 4-2. That's what it does to the standings. We're now game and a half back of the Fort Wayne Kekiungas. We're a game back of the Chicago White Stockings. Troy is level with us, and the New York Mutuals have yet to play. Washington Olympics have won their opening game. Boston Red Stockings are a half game ahead of them. Philadelphia Athletics are level with the Washington Olympics. Cleveland Forest Citys are a game back. And that is what it's done. We've got Philadelphia Athletics next. Matthews coming up. So I have to fill out the score sheet. I'm going to get up and take a break. I'm going to be back in about 10 minutes' time with the second game. For those on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. We'll be back with the next game, the 2-1 Philadelphia Athletics, the 1-3 Rockford Forest Citys. That's the next game. 6 teams playing today. And then if we get a third game in today, it will be the Washington Olympics versus the New York Mutuals. Otherwise, that'll be the next game that we play in the next stream. But for now, we'll be coming up with the Philadelphia Athletics versus the Rockford Forest Citys next. Until then, take care.